Hello guys, today I'm making a tutorial on how to download, install and configure LUI v3 for World of Warcraft Lich King patch 3.3.5. So I'll have this link posted in the description. You're gonna come into it, and what you're gonna see is all of these bars. You just go to other files, you choose your version. If you want to install it for something latest like Mr. Pandaria, you can just download it from here. I'm doing this for Lich King, so I've chosen a Lich King download. I've already downloaded it, so I'm not going to download it again. Just open your zip after you download it. Just extract it. I'm going to extract it on the desktop. Just to show you. So you go into it, and there are these folders. You come and you navigate to your World of Warcraft folder, wherever you have it. Then you go to interface. Actually, you don't go to interface. You just copy these two folders and paste it on top of here. It will ask you to merge folders. Just press yes. I've already done that. It's also a good idea to have your add-ons backed up, because if something interferes, some version of your old add-ons interfere with the ones that LUI installs, because it's not a standalone, it comes with a lot of add-ons. There may be a problem. Some add-on may not work, or actually the whole LUI may not work. So after you've installed it, I'll quickly delete that. You open up World of Warcraft. If you haven't got it enabled already, just press enable all. It's gonna automatically enable it. Load out of date add-ons. Let me quickly make a new character for the purpose of the guide. Sorry, okay, whatever. Wiz, got really. Okay. So at start, you're gonna see this big install button. LUI v3 next gen WoW user interface. There's just one thing you have to do. There's nothing else you can do. Just press install. It's gonna take a couple of seconds, not more than 10. You see, like 4. Now everything is different. Nothing from your old Blizzard default WoW is gonna be the same, or if you have previously had another UI change. As you can see, don't worry, I'm gonna explain everything from start to end, starting with the most basic, simple, these 5 buttons right here. Okay, the first one toggles this little color out frame of the chat. You can have it on or off, it's up to you. I like it on, just a little light up there. The second one toggles your add-on called Omen. Omen is an add-on which shows you your aggro and your threat meter and when you're fighting PvE or PvP. So you can see your aggro and the tank's aggro and everything. You can see them in the list, who has the most aggro, threat, and the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and so on and so forth. The third one is recount. It may be a little strange. You may not be used to this recount. It's still recount, don't worry. I know it looks shady like this. I'm gonna help you put it in a position where it looks good and everything is okay. The fourth one toggles an add-on called Grid. They all come with LUI UI, don't worry. So this add-on Grid, it shows you your raid members. So if you're in whatever, like in a raid, Voa, Ice Crown Citadel, you're gonna have all your members right here. That's about it. The fifth bar just toggles them on and off completely. Yeah. The next thing that I'm going to show you, this, I think this is for characters who have buffs. They come up here so they can cast them, quick cast them. This button right here is for your, your menu, your character info, spellbook, talents, everything. But there's one new button which is LUI options. But before that, I'm going to show you the one on the most right, which is your minimap. Okay, so let's just hop into the options already. This is the basic installation of the add-on. Now we're moving on to the section of configuring your add-on. Once you go in there, there's one general section. There's nothing useful here, just information about the developer. Next bar is settings. Once you go into settings, these are the most general settings of the whole add-on. Nothing specific, just your restore defaults, your show chat, show minimap, show omen, show grid, show recount, show micro menu. I don't know why they're unchecked. They're when you install it, they're unchecked, but don't worry, as you can see, you have them all on. Just don't touch them. It doesn't matter if they're checked or not. As you can see, you have them anyway. There are two more options: enable auto accept, which is accepts all invites from guilds or friends into party, and enable auto invite, and you can choose an auto invite keyword. Colors, this is every man for himself. Like it depends on everyone how you like it. You can change your colors. There are a couple of color schemes. This is blue. You can just try them all out. This is blue, golden, red, green, purple, and orange. There is at first it's going to be checked class colors option. The class colors is just different classes are set to different colors. As you see, the hunter is set to green already. The warlock, for example, is purple. I think mage is blue. Druid is orange. Shaman is blue, and so on. You can change them manually from when you uncheck this. You can change all of these, but you need to like reload, and I'm not doing that right now. So damage font, this is pretty self-explanatory. Damage font, these little numbers right here, and that's your damage font. You can increase the font size, you can change the font, and of course your font size of crits, you want to make them bigger. Okay, so I guess you pull that. Info text, this is all the text right here. The white, the characters, the text. You can choose your font, you can choose your size, your color. I suggest you just leave it white. It's based on every single color or class, or it is. So sorry for that. I suggest you just leave it white. You have your gold, your clock, your bags, which that's your gold, your clock, your bags, your armor, FPS, megabytes for all of your add-ons, at MS. You can even enable some more stuff. Your guild, your friends. I prefer to have them on. And you can change the position, the X value, the Y value, that is basically left, right, up, and down. So after that, Omen. Omen is this add-on. Again, the aggro, the threat add-on. You can choose an individual color for your aggro bar, or use a team color. I prefer the team color. It just sticks with the team. And again, you can change the position up, down, left, and right. Some people find it uncomfortable here. You can just do this. You can do this. You can have it there wherever you like. Next on the list is recount. I'm trying to do this as short as possible, guys, so I'm not wasting any time. I'm trying to do it as focused as much on the add-on without drifting away. So if it's too fast, just pause your video and rewatch those a couple of seconds that you didn't understand. So recount, again, the only options here, there are more options, I'm going to show them later. The only options here are your position. So you can, I don't know, you can just set it to, no, that's bad. Let's set it to here. Okay, let's just place it there for a moment. Grid, grid is this. The party, the raid add-on that shows you every member. You can of course change this value again from up to up, down, left to right, wherever you want it on the screen. I think that's perfect in the bottom right corner. Your background width, your background texture. Next on is Fort Exorcist. Now this add-on is good and bad in the same time, but happily, like luckily, you can neutralize the bad side. So the first tab in here is spell timer. Spell timer, I'm gonna go into that a bit later. Now I'm gonna show cooldown timer. So cooldown timer is a very important add-on. It keeps track of your cooldowns when you use them. Let's say we use Rapture Strike, you know. Okay, so it has a little bar that only comes up when you use spells, and it says, as you see there, when does the cooldown of your spell finish. Let's use Shadow Meld. You see it's far right, and because of its cooldown, it's 1 minute and 50 seconds. So it's on the 150 mark right now. And as it goes in closer, it's gonna go, you know, it's gonna start going faster. Oops, sorry. That's about for exorcism. I'm now going to explain like cooldown timer. Now I'm gonna explain spell timer. So spell timer is the bad side, but you can make it good, don't worry. It's basically an add-on that shows you the duration of damage over times on your target, and it shows them above your name. The damage over times on your target shows them above your name for some reason, but that's not the bad side. The bad side is that it's about as your frame big as your health frame, and it can stack to infinite times. Like if you have a lot of dots effects, I think it also shows some cooldown on very important spells, so that's even more stuff. It stacks to about this big, and in width, you know, it's just the same size as your frame, so it's huge. It blocks a whole big portion of the left side of your center middle screen, if I can say, the left part of your center of the screen. And I'm gonna show you later how you can fix that, don't worry. I'm just gonna skip these. If you wanna bar color, spark color, if you wanna play with those, you can do that. I'm gonna show you how to fix it later. Okay, so that's for the general. Now for auras, I'm sorry I don't have no idea like what is auras, what's that add-on, what does it do. I have no idea. I'm really sorry. You can see it's related with player buffs, debuffs, focus, target, party, whatever. Sadly, I don't know what it does. If you know, please tell me in the comments. I'm gonna be really grateful. It'll be really helpful because not only I will know, you know, I can just make another tutorial to explain that so other people can learn. Yeah, so sorry for that one. Let's move on. Okay, so bars is really simple. It's basically these two bars. You can put spells on them, like I put my mounts here and here, and I bind them to control 1 and control 2, and when you close them, they still work. So that's the really cool part. You can also put a left bar, just type \RL, and it's gonna toggle. Okay, as you can see, now I have a left bar and a right bar. You can move them up and down from here. A Y offset up and down, just change it. Let's say 50. You see it moved a little bit up. And you can also check this to open instant instead of having that little animation. I prefer the animation though. Okay, let's move on to cast bars. Cast bars is pretty simple. It's basically this. You can see when you cast a spell or the item or whatever, the cast bar from Blizzard is changed. You can toggle cast bar latency, which will come up when you're casting spells. There's gonna be a little latency that you can track. your cat bar icon right here. Cat bar icons focus target, and you can enable and disable it. That's for the main features, and then you can just configure it for your player, for your target, or for your focus colors. Change the font, the border. You can change its position, its width, its height. You can change everything you like. As you can see, everything here is very flexible and very detailed. You can do it to your selection, whatever you like. So let's move on to unit frames. Okay, unit frames, this is an add-on which I cannot cover in just one overall simple tutorial. This add-on is very detailed, so I cannot cover everything, but I'm just going to tell you the main features, which are this add-on is this little bar, your target's bar, your focus target, pet target party. Everything is going to come up in this format, not in that old Blizzard top left corner format, because first, it looks way better. Second, there are a lot of options you can toggle. You can move it freely wherever you want. You can change the size. Let's say you don't like that width, you can make it 150. It's personal preference. Your appearance, the colors, the positioning fader is not in this patch. I don't know what that does, so it doesn't matter to me because I play Lich King. If it's not in there, I won't use it. Whatever it is. There are too many options that I can't cover in this tutorial, so if you want a detailed tutorial just on this add-on unit frames, just tell me, I'm gonna make one. The player, the target, the TOT, OT, focus target, everything is in the same format of configuration. The positioning, size, appearance, fader. As you can see, everything is like that. So you can do all of those, and then there's colors for every class, like mana focus powers, health, empty, health full, and your happiness, your runes, your rogue points, like your rune bar, shaman totems, difficulty, tapped runes, everything. After that, we'll move on to the minimap. There's nothing to cover here, and then the chat. This enables it. There are not many things you should change about the chat. It's okay as it is, but if you want to really, you can change your font, your mouse wheel speed in the chat, and there's the default, which are the default ones, and then there's a bunch of options here. I haven't even touched it. I think that's perfect. There's nothing better to put in there, so I haven't changed it. You can explore it on your own if you want to, or check tutorial. Frequently asked questions. This is if you have any questions about the add-ons that are included in LUI, most probably there will be an answer in here. So you should check them out if you have any questions. I learned a lot from these. It's really helpful. And then there's profiles for every every character you make. Different profiles for the add-ons. Okay, so now moving on, I'm going to show you what I meant with about this add-on Fort Exorcist. So to open its menu, you type /FX into chat. That opens the general options menu. Once you're in there, this is probably the most in-depth detailed menu I have ever seen, so it's impossible to cover it in mere 15 to 20 minutes. If you want a specific tutorial for this, which is probably going to be really long, I can explain everything in it. So if you need a tutorial, I can make one. Just PM your comment or whatever. I'm just going to cover the thing I said about earlier. So you go under spell timer, you go a little bit lower, and you go to bar width. Now it's set to 203. I'm just gonna unlock the frame so you can see how big it is. You see how big it is? Imagine that capping to a bit somewhere here. How much space of your screen and how annoying it is in the middle. So instead of 203, I suggest you put it around 100 or 150. It's again a personal preference. I prefer about 130. I think that is the ideal size. It's small, it's not as big, and also a very important thing, maximum shown 10. So it won't go to like 50 or something. It's gonna be capped to about here or maybe here. It's really good to have it in 10, or you can increase it if you're some character that really needs to know that has a lot of dots, like I don't know, Shadow Priest, Affliction Warlock, I don't know, and you need to keep track perfectly of everything. Basically, this add-on was made for Warlocks, but it's used by every class. So if you're a Warlock, it's even better. It's gonna be of more use to you. After that, what I have to show you is some other add-ons that were not included in. They are included in LUI, but they're not included in the options. So you go to interface. If you don't know that, it's in escape interface add-ons. So let's start with Mapster. Mapster is an add-on included in LUI. It replaces the huge full screen map you open when you press M with a smaller one that you can resize to your fitting, as big as you want it to be. And it also has coordinates for a lot of WoW head quests, or from sites you can see quests. If you're stuck on quests, most of the time, like in every single page, you're gonna see coordinates with where to give the quest, where the quest mobs, and so on. So you have some options here: alpha, minimized alpha, scale to scale it. I just get from here. Minimize scale, POI scale, and player arrow scale. You have hide map button, disable mouse, and a lot more stuff in here. So you have profiles to set it for like different characters. You have coordinates. You can make them really accurate. You see down there, more accurate version. I just prefer these. You can make them really accurate. Group icons, battle map, fog clear, and instance maps. So those are pretty obvious, like easy to configure. You don't need much explanation about them, I'm guessing. Just a map. So next we move on to Omen. Omen is this right here, the Tread the Aggro. It's a really good add-on, and again, it's very detailed. I would say that if you don't really know what you're doing like perfectly, you don't touch it that much. Like, it's made to be really good by default, to be really comfortable. I've left it without touching anything, and it serves me a great job. So I would suggest you don't touch it, but basically there are a lot of settings here. A lot of settings about if you want which classes you want to be shown. And Omen, you have your bar settings, some warnings, / commands, profiles. There are a lot of things. You can just explore them on your own. I'm not gonna cover that. I want to keep it as short as possible, even though the LUI add-on is really big. So even if I try to keep it short, it's still, I've hit the 23 minutes mark already. So I'm gonna try to go a bit faster. OmniCC, this is my favorite add-on of all time. No, yeah, maybe my favorite add-on of all time. For sure, one of my favorite. What it does is, I'm gonna show you real quick. Let me aggro this thing. You see, so I just cast an ability, and now you see that it just popped up in the middle of the screen. That thing is OmniCC. It shows you in the middle of your screen when the spell is off cooldown. Let me just hit with my spell, okay? I'm gonna see it now in a second. See, bam, it's off cooldown. So that is very helpful. I just can't stress enough how helpful that is when you want to know when your best cooldowns are off, and instead of having to watch like 50% of the time in your action bars, you can just minimize that and just increase your focus on the DPS you're doing on the target. Or if you're a healer or tank, you're healing, or how much aggro you are keeping. So that is just made, again, just like Omen, perfectly. You don't need to touch anything. It's best if you leave it. It's really good made. Minimap, that's just the minimap again. this minimap, not a bigger one. Recount. Now here I am going to show you how to fix this. Well, it's not a bug, but how to make it better. So I'm going to Window. If you didn't quite catch what I did, go to Interface, Add-ons, Recount, Config. Okay, so after you're in Config, go to, it's going to be in Data, go to Window. Now you see how big this is. Obviously you can only have like a couple of people, maximum 5 I'm guessing, since it's so big and you can barely see anything. I suggest first you scale down your window to about 0.85. It's not that big of a difference. Then this is the thing that's most important. You shorten your row height to 17. As you can see, it's still readable. It's just you can fit a lot more people, about 10-15 people in there, way more than you could when it was in such a high number. You just leave row spacing the same, and if you want you can move your you can manually move it. I'm not moving it. So that's about recount, and the last thing I have to cover is bartender. For those of you who don't know, bartender is an add-on which replaces that old Blizzard action bar and instead puts action bars just like these two one I have right here. So to open the menu, you just type \BT for bartender. You can just click and have a minimap icon right there. So the lock button is on by default. You just click it off and you're gonna see all these frames. So if you're a hunter, you're gonna have a pet frame. If you're a shaman, you're gonna have totem frames. I don't have one because I'm not a shaman, nor a stance one. You have your vehicle bar. It's not showing up when they're locked because right now I don't have a pet on, or I'm not in a vehicle. But when you're in a vehicle, they're gonna be on. So you can move your bars wherever you like. If you don't like them in the bottom, I don't know, everyone chooses for himself, you can put them there. And they snap, which is really good. And by snapping I mean they automatically adjust to themselves, like you see right there. Yeah, so that's one thing. Locking and unlocking, then you can go to bar. Let's say your pet bar, you can choose its scale. You can make it bigger, smaller. Rows, you can change it like that. Padding, alpha, visibility, positioning, and it's the same for every bar basically. Like for your bar 1, buttons, how many you want to have, rows, scale, and everything else is the same. If you're still leveling, you can enable your XP bar, your rep bar. You can have that on if you're farming some reps. You can have everything. And now for the key bindings, it's really easy. You just switch to key binding mode. Let's say actually just wait, let's put that there. So let's open the menu, switch to key binding mode. Let's say you unbind keys with shift and with escape. My bad. With escape you unbind everything that's on that button. And let's say you want to bind it, you just hover over it and click the buttons you want to bind. Let's say I want to bind this to shift and T. I hold shift and I press T, and you see ST, shift, T. So now it's binded. It's really easy. You just hover over your binds and press the button, and if you want to delete the bind, just press escape. It's that easy, guys. And of course, if you want to have more bars, you just drag these over. Let's say you can put some things on those. You can do everything you want. I've disabled them, that's why I can't put things on them. I've disabled them because I don't need them. So that was my not so short tutorial and explanation on how to install, configure LUI UI and every add-on it contains. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them in the comments, or if I post this on any forum, you can just ask there. And yeah, see you guys in raids, and happy raiding, guys.